necessary. I'm doing exactly what God has asked me to do, and it may not make sense to you all, and that's okay. But God put in my heart 11:11. I don't know why He gave me that particular time. That's when He wants me going live, and so I'm not sure if that's something He's going to have me doing just for a couple of days. But until He tells me to stop, then I'll stop. But I literally just got out of a meeting because I just felt such an unction in my spirit. It's 11:11, and I need you to do what I told you to do. And what God has placed in my heart is you're going to be reading and talking about your book necessary. You're going to be announcing the book club necessary, and He's going to be spreading this all over the nations. And so I'm walking in obedience, and I want to talk to you all a little bit about strange favor. So if you all have your books, I want everyone to turn over to chapter 6 about strange favor. And let me explain what I mean by strange favor when I wrote this particular chapter. Hi, you guys. I can see everybody. I know that you wouldn't expected me to go live again right now. Hang on, let me adjust this. But I'm walking in obedience and doing exactly what I feel that God has placed in my heart to do. And He's made it clear to me it's 11:11, and I want you going live. And I don't know why He has me doing this, but I'm going to do exactly what He says. So you all turn over to strange favor, and let's talk about that just a little bit. So when I talk about the chapter of strange favor, first of all, let me read the affirmation to you all. And after I read the affirmation, I really just want to turn this into just a conversation with you all. So for those who have your books, turn over to page 70. Does everyone have their books with them? If you guys don't have your books, you should make sure you get a copy of it. It's available on my website at Unlocking Greatness. It's also available on Amazon. And if for those of you who don't know me, my name is Zenja Glass. And God had me write a book called Necessary. And He wrote it, I didn't. And He's made it clear He's going to spread this book all over the world. And so I'm just going to walk and do exactly what the Spirit is telling me to do. Because there's someone out there right now that may not realize what you're actually experiencing right now in your life is strange favor. And I know it may not look like it, but that's what's going on right now. So I see some people saying, hey, Z, Wanda says she's got her book. Great. Okay, you guys make sure you have your books. So turn over to page 70, and how about we just read a little bit? I always say I'm not going to be live for too long, and you guys keep me live a long time, but I really do have a ton of things on my plate to do, but I'm walking in obedience. So chapter 6, I'm going to read the affirmation. Let's start with that. You guys ready? Let me know if you're ready. Go ahead and put that in the category. Someone says, hey, Z, I love strange favors. So let's talk about that. So chapter 6, this is the affirmation, strange favor. You may not be able to see it right now because I am still a work in progress, but the favor of God is all over my life. It may not look like favor to you because you didn't see the expected end, but just keep watching. Watch and see what God does. Watch and see Him turn everything around for my good. Don't mistake my statement as pride. And please don't mistake my faith as wishful thinking. And one day you will see the favor of God has never left me. Now, let me talk a little bit about what I was going through when I wrote this. Again, that's the affirmation that introduces the chapter Strange Favor. You know, when I was going through some of the worst seasons of my life, some of the things that was happening, I didn't realize at the time that it was strange favor from God. Sometimes God will allow things to be taken away in your life. I'm not going to get into talking about the pruning season. You guys will talk about that at another time. But sometimes he sends His blessings, and you guys, it almost looks like a punishment. It almost looks like frustration. And it almost looks like, what in the world is this? How can this be a gift from God? How can you have the audacity to call this a gift when I'm going through this situation? You know, whether it be in your career, your finances, maybe even in your marriage, baby, or in a relationship, you know, or in your health or something. And you can sit back so easily. And I'm only speaking from experience, you guys. You guys know I love you. But sometimes you can't see the blessing and what God is trying to do. And if your eyes are not really open to what's really happening, you can mistake that strange favor, which is a blessing, right? as why is the enemy always coming at me? When is God going to answer these prayers? Or when is it going to be my turn type deal, right? Or I can't believe this situation just happened. How in the world is it that I just lost my job? Or why is this person treating me like this when I'm doing everything I can to be a good friend or to be a good, you get my point? And we don't realize, for example, this is just an example, God is moving that person out of the way because that person's no longer needed for the next season of your life, baby. And sometimes you may not realize you're going through what you're going through, perhaps in your finances or in other areas of your life, because God is allowing a fire to be lit inside of you. Now, just listen to me. Just listen. God's allowing a fire to be lit inside of you because that's the only way you're going to get your butt up and do what the heck you're supposed to be doing in the first place. Let me say that again. Sometimes the strange favor of God comes in your life and it comes wrapped in the suffering. It doesn't look like a present, right? It looks like trouble, right? Now, if you get into reading the Word of God, you'll understand that the strange favor is all throughout the Bible. It really is. But I'm going to keep it on what we're talking about now. It looks like trouble. It looks like if one more thing happened. It looks like, how can this be going on in my finances when I'm praying so hard for this, this, and that, right? That's how it comes wrapped. Are you guys following me? It comes wrapped inside of the suffering. Now, it took me many, many, many years. I'm well into my 50s now. A few years from now, I'll be 60. Many years to be able to realize this. Many years. I didn't understand why some friends betrayed me and treated me the way they did. I only realize now they were doing me the best favor in my life. I realize it now, right? I didn't realize why I went through so much trouble in my marriage, all the back and forth and the things we were going through and doing. I didn't realize all of the struggles that I had to deal with. You guys know my story. I've told it way too many times. I've worked since I was 13 years old. My mom was a single parent. She ran away from an abusive relationship in the middle of the night when our lives were being threatened. We end up downtown. I'm 12 years old in a state I didn't know nothing about. I'm barefoot. We just get off at a bus station. We're homeless. We have nothing. My mother, my two siblings, right? Right? How can you call that strange favor? Are you out here? Are you kidding me? But I didn't realize even in that I'm just talking to you guys. This is just a family talk, you guys. I love y'all so much. I just wish you guys knew. I share my life because I always know that there's somebody that can benefit from the pain and from the victories. But let me get back on point. I didn't realize even in that when I look back over my life, God had to position me and get me out of that territory that I was in at the ripe age of 12. And I went through those things because he needed to position me over here. Because that's actually where I found Christ. That's actually where I gave my life over. That's actually where I began to, go through different seasons. He was moving. He was a master in the background, moving pieces around. But at the time, it just felt like, why does everyone else have a stable family? They're raised with their moms and dads. At least that's how it looked to me, right? And everybody else seemed to be going along. And here we are with nothing, and we're homeless, and we're trying to figure out where we're going to live. And I've got to see my mother ask somebody for a quarter to even make a phone call. Bless her heart, bless her soul. She's no longer with us now, right? And she went on to become an amazing minister, an amazing social worker, helping people who are disabled. Like God turned her life around. I'm just making a point. I'm making a point. Why did God allow me to have all of that strange favor? Why did he give me that strange favor? Why was I blessed to be able to eat out of shelters? Notice I said blessed. Why was I blessed that we grew up on welfare? Why was I blessed to eat in the food pantries? Why was I blessed with all the strange favor that God wrapped around my life? Why? Why was I blessed to have a child that had tremendous, tremendous, tremendous health challenges his entire life? Why was I blessed? It's only in retrospect, you guys, that you're able to oh my goodness, God, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, God. You are healing and helping your babies. Because some of you guys are experiencing strange favor right now. And God's got my little butt on here with my little afro in the middle of a work day, breathing hope into somebody who does not even realize he's setting you up for success. He's making you into his image. He's allowing you to have those humble seasons, that beautiful, strange favor, so that you can be a reflection of his image and do mighty things for him later in life. You see, if I would have skipped, I'm just talking to you guys. God told me go live at 11:11. I don't know why he keeps giving me that time. Read from the book Necessary, which he absolutely wrote through me. And he's telling me, you need to trust me. My people are going to help carry this book to the ends of the world. It's going to be all over the nations. If it wasn't for the strange favor that I experienced in my life, there's no way in the world I would be sitting here talking to you all right now. I would be all about making money, probably somewhere in a casino gambling. Who knows? Who knows? But I wouldn't have the heart of compassion and love that I have for people had I not gone through such seasons of strange favor. I'm grateful for it all. And some of you right now are going through your seasons of strange favor. Someone says, I'm struggling. And what you got to look at, baby, I talked about this yesterday. I think I talked about this inside of one of my mentorship sessions, because I think some of my people in my mentorship are in this live right now. What you got to realize is the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And if he can just get you to take your eyes off of the strange favor and focus on just the circumstances, take your eyes off of God and what he's doing. The enemy don't mind you praying a little bit. That don't bother him. As long as he can still keep you where he feels you belong. Take your eyes off of what can be happening and focus on just the circumstances. Then he can keep you from growing. And I'm here to tell you all, strange favor is a beautiful thing to experience from God. I already know before you say something, when you're in the middle of it, especially for that baby says she's struggling. I already know when you're in the middle of the strange favor, you could not, I probably would have went off on you so bad if you would have tried to tell me that was a good thing I was going through in that moment. So I already know in the middle of it, it's like, no, I'm not accepting this. This is nothing, there's nothing good that can come out of this. And I'm telling you all, as someone on the other side of the mountain, all things work out for the good of God and for the good of those who believe in him. Let me read a little bit more from Necessary, because I got to do what God told me to do. You guys grab your books. For those of you who haven't joined my book club yet, get your doggone books. It's on my website at unlockinggreatness.com. It's on Amazon. Spread the word, get your book. But let's read a little bit more. Let me read some of these comments really quickly. Is there anyone in here right now experiencing strange favor? Is there anyone in here going through strange favor right now? looking at some of the notes coming through. Hang on one second here, you guys. Anyone in here going through strange favor? Okay, I see the comments. You guys are saying yes. Okay, well, let me encourage you with this, baby. Chapter 6 from Strange Favor. I'm just going to read just a little bit. Sometimes favor doesn't look like favor at all. When my life was falling apart and everything seemed to be spinning out of control, I'm reading from my book, Necessary, you guys. When my life was falling apart and everything seemed to be spinning out of control, there was no way in the world you could have convinced me that God was showing me favor. What kind of strange favor is that? How could anyone in their right mind call that favor? Especially when you're going through the storms and don't feel his presence at all. Favor should come wrapped with pretty bows and fall from the sky, like an angel bringing you a personal delivery from God, right? Favor shouldn't look like trouble. My God. Favor shouldn't look like pain or discomfort. Favor shouldn't look like times of uncertainty and attacks from the enemy. Favor shouldn't accompany tears or hardships. That's not favor. Or is it? How is it possible that this strange favor from God has a greater purpose in our lives that many of us simply cannot see during our storms? How is it possible that when whatever you're going through right now, the strange favor of God is powerfully at work in your life, moving you, strengthening you, making you wiser, teaching you to persevere, positioning you, baby, positioning you for new territory, taking away what is no longer needed for the next season in your life, building your character and shaping you to become a light for others. Could it be possible? That's the opening line for the chapter on strange favor. I'm going to pause right here a second to make sure I'm seeing you guys. Hang on one second here, you guys. Every now and then, you have, okay, there you go. All right. So let me pause there a second. Am I speaking to myself or am I speaking to someone? Someone says you're speaking volumes. Someone says, but why did I have to lose everything? I don't know the answer to that, baby. That reminds me of a chapter inside of my book, Necessary, that talks about chapter's title, When God Says No. Because I did not understand why my son died. After all the prayers that I did and how much I was striving to serve God with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. So I'm not going to sit here and act as if I have every answer to everyone's problem, but I can share with you. I'm talking to you, baby, that asked that question. I can share with you a little bit about me if you allow me to. All I do know, and I wrote about this in chapter 1, that chapter called A Letter to the Enemy. I do know that the enemy doesn't get to show up in my life and do whatever he wants. I do know that all things work out for the good of those who love the Lord. And I do know that there are times in life when God says no. And I've made the decision, and I talk about that in that chapter. When God says no, can he still be your God? And the answer is yes. I went live yesterday. You can go back and watch that live stream. And I read a chapter because yesterday was Tuesday, I think it was, on April 9th, the anniversary of my son's death. And I read a chapter in there called chapter 23. And I read another chapter, just a little bit from the chapter. I read A Letter to the Enemy, part 2. And in that, what I said in that, and I'm still talking to you, baby, the one that says, why did I have to lose everything? What I said in that is that the enemy thought he had me. He thought he had me because, like you just said, baby, I felt I had lost everything. I don't know if you know my story, but if you've got my book, then you know a whole lot, because my whole life just came tumbling down. There's a chapter in Necessary called Through the Fire. I would encourage you to read that. Every area of my life, marriage, finances, health, just name something. Every area of my life, I felt like I lost absolutely everything, right? And goes beyond when we were homeless when I was younger. But what I do know, and this is what I didn't know, baby, and maybe I'm live just for you, so I'm speaking to the same person. I didn't understand that God could still use a broken vessel. And I also didn't understand that it was in my brokenness, it was in me losing pretty much everything, just so you know. I didn't understand that it was in the brokenness that he was able to reflect himself through me in such a way that he has began to capture the attention of the world, change lives and hearts, and help draw people closer to him. Now, I was just a broken vessel, baby. And I said in that chapter, I think chapter 23 or so, I said to God, especially after I lost my son, I said, how do you have the audacity to ask me to turn around and help and give to others when I'm fighting to have a relationship with you? I don't even want you to touch me right now. You still God, I love you, but just don't even touch me right now. And I was too weak to even pray, baby. And in that chapter, if you have it, I really encourage you to read it. I talked about this vision I saw in the spirit and how Jesus was just standing there, patient, kind, loving. And he began to take me on this beautiful journey through all of the seasons in my life. Now, you can go back and watch that live. It's on my YouTube and Instagram. I did it on April 9th, so I think that was Tuesday. You can go watch the whole live. I'm just giving you a summation because I want to answer your question. You guys bear with me. There's a baby in here who said, why did I lose everything? And so I'm just addressing her or him. I don't know who it is. But I talked about this vision. I literally saw this vision in the spirit. And it was as if the Holy Spirit, it was as if Jesus was walking with me through all the seasons of my life. And in each season that I was going through, when I thought I was alone, and I thought, what is this strange favor, right? He began to show me. It was preparing me and equipping me for the next season. And it was almost like watching a movie. And I was able to see that in each season, I was able to hold my head just a little bit higher, right? And in each season, it looks as if there were spectators watching me. And I began to say, I don't have anything to give them. What is it that you're asking of me, God? When I'm already suffering and going through my losses, I'm a broken vessel. I've got nothing to give you but a broken heart, a broken vessel. I'm struggling to stay in this fight with you. And all he did was just smile. And he walked me through each season. And it wasn't until the end, and this is a vision I actually saw, baby. It wasn't until the end as I saw each season of my life, from when, I witnessed my mom just being beaten, and just the abuse I went through as a child, the homelessness, it's a lot, baby. It's just a whole lot. You'll know about it if you've read my book, Necessary. The point is, he walked me through each season of my life. In each season, the people that were watching me from their corners began to come out more and more from their dark places. And the closer they walked towards me, the more they began to shine. It's like a bright light, the more they began to shine. And I remember turning to Jesus, and I remember saying, I don't understand. How can you use this brokenness? All I've got to offer is that I'm willing to stay in this fight, and I'm willing to surrender and give my all to you. And he looked at me and smiled. And it was only in that moment, and that's why I wrote about it, and I put it in that last 2 or so chapters of the book. That's what I wrote about. Oh my God. I didn't realize it's in the brokenness and everything that I've gone through. He was able to use me at his best. And then he slowly began to raise me up and do some things that you just wouldn't believe. I won't go into more detail with all that, but he changed my entire life around. So, baby, I don't have an answer to your question when you said, why did I have to lose everything? But I would ask you, can you consider, let me read a little bit more from Strange Favor. Can you just consider asking the question differently? Let me mess with you for a moment, baby. I'm treating this like this is a mentorship session. For those of you that are in my mentorship program, you already used to this because you know this is what I tell you guys. And you guys are more than welcome to join us at unlockinggreatness.com. If you ever want to jump in my mentorship, our next live private meeting is this Monday. You guys are so more than welcome. We walk through the entire book inside of my retreat, by the way. But let me finish talking to this baby. Instead of asking the question, why did I have to lose everything? Can you consider asking it this way? What is so special and so valuable in me that I've come to this position of losing everything? What is it that the enemy is so afraid of that I must not know about myself? And what is it that God is trying to show me or do in my life? What is it? It's almost as if I have a podcast episode called Open Your Eyes, and I think there's another one called Look at It Again. I could just spend all day talking to you, baby. But anyway, podcast episode, go to YouTube, look up Unlocking Greatness Podcast with Zenja Glass. You'll find it. But I forget the exact name. But I walked through a whole scenario of looking at it again. What is it that the enemy is coming to steal, kill, and destroy? What is he threatened by in my life that I would have such attacks? Remember in the book of Job, when the enemy was roaming the earth to and fro, looking for someone to devour? And remember how he went to God and says, he wanted to attack his life, right? Do you know the story of Job and all that Job went through? But do you know the premise behind that? And I talk about that not only in chapter 1 about a letter to the enemy, but in chapter 24, when I put the enemy on notice and let him know he's lost the battle. The whole premise behind that, you guys give me just one more minute to talk to this baby, and I will get back on track. The whole premise behind, this is my perception, what God put in my spirit, the whole premise behind all the attacks on Job's life, and he ended up getting double in the end, by the way, baby. It actually really wasn't even about Job. I pray you catch me, baby, what I just said. Maybe I should read a little bit from chapter 24 because I go in detail about that. It actually wasn't even about Job, baby. It was an attack against God. I'm going to see, can you catch that? The attack was against God because he said, if I do all these things to him, I bet I can get him to curse you and die. You get my point? The attack was against the jealousy and the rage he has against who God is in our lives. Does that make sense? I'd never realized that. I'd never realized the enemy saw things in me I didn't even see in myself. I didn't even see it myself. I thought the attack was about me. I didn't realize, you guys, the attack really was against all the generations that would be impacted by God working in my life to help people for generations to come. I hope you caught that, baby. You don't steal from someone who ain't got nothing. Look up John 10:10. So when the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, what is so special about you, baby, that you've been attacked in such a way? Now, what gold are we going to be able to extract from that? Oh my God, I wish I could spend some time with you. I'm going to jump off of that and get back to finishing reading this and close on out. I pray that blessed you just a little bit in what I said, baby. I didn't mean to go that deep in. I kind of treated this like a mentorship session. You're more than welcome to join at unlockinggreatness.com. I have an entire whole Unlocking Greatness community. Anyone can come in there and join. We have the best conversations in the world. We meet every week, Mondays, and we meet on Wednesdays. For personal development and entrepreneur development. And that's the kind of stuff we talk about, except the only difference, I'll be able to see your face and meet you on the Zoom, and we'll be able to actually talk. But anyway, you're more than welcome. That's at unlockinggreatness.com to get into personal development training. I'm going to read a little bit more from Necessary. I'm doing what God told me. God placed in my heart, you go live at 11:11, which is what I just did. And he placed in my heart, he's going to use his children to spread this book throughout the world for generations to come. And the only thing I ask from you all, the only thing I ask, and you guys know I don't ask much, please spread the word. And if there's anyone going through things in life, anyone going through things, please spread the word about necessary. When you create your own book club, I don't know if you all were on my live on Tuesday. Go to my page, Unlocking Greatness, and let me know. Because I'm actually going to join one of your book club meetings. So anyone that's forming book clubs around necessary, not only am I going to be reading live like how I'm doing now, but I'm going to actually join one of your book club meetings for a little bit. So all those details are on my site at unlockinggreatness.com. Let me read a little bit more and get off of this live. I just wanted to talk to you all. Someone says, I'm edging too, bro. I don't know what edging means. I don't know what that means, but anyway, I pray that that's a good positive comment. Someone says Job had to go through the process as we too must go through the process as a part of God's plan. Yes, baby. Yes. Someone is saying here that they've had sorrow and grief. I absolutely understand, baby. I absolutely understand. Let me read a little bit more from Strange Favor because I only read just a little bit from that. I'm only going to read maybe one or two more paragraphs and I'm going to close out. For those of you who do have necessary, make sure that you're prepared when we have our book club meeting. For everyone that's signed up for the book club, you're going to be getting an email pretty soon. Make sure that you're ready to answer the assignment questions on page 80 under Strange Favor. Those are going to be the two the two questions that we're going to talk about. So on page 80, make sure you've read through the recommended reading. Make sure you've gone through the assignment questions, and those are going to be some of the things we're going to talk about when we get together on our private Zooms. For all of you who are already members of the Unlocking Greatness community that's already in my mentorship, do not go and sign up for the book club. You guys are automatically included in that. The Zoom link is going to be posted inside of the community, and you guys are going to be a part of the private reading sessions. So that we can talk a little bit further about this. But anyway, let me read just a little bit more. I see some comments coming through. I struggle to stay motivated during the process. I talked about that the other day. It's so important that you be in a like-minded, get in a good community. Someone says, how do I join the book club? Just go to unlockinggreatness.com, baby. The link is in my bio. And you can join not only the book club, but the full retreat. There's a full retreat on this, a 12-week retreat that I'll walk you through a whole process of going through a transformational journey. Okay, let's read a little bit from here. When you were saying, baby, about your struggle to stay motivated, this is why I was telling you all the other day. I think it was on Tuesday, the anniversary of my son's death. I can't stress enough how important it is that you get yourself into a good mentorship program. Get in the right community. And I told you all, you don't have to get in mine. If you don't like me, that's fine. Find one you like. But it's hard to stay motivated out there kind of by yourself doing your own thing. It's actually biblical that we need each other, right? So get yourself into a good Bible-based and mindset mentorship program, not just woohoo motivation, right? I firmly believe it needs to be Bible-based as well. And you're getting an example of this right now. This is an example literally of how my mentorship sessions go when we meet on Mondays and Wednesdays. But get yourself into a good program. So mine is still available at unlockinggreatness.com. You guys are more than welcome to join. But even if you don't like me and don't want to get in mine, or you don't like my afro, or you don't like that I talk about God, that's fine. Find yourself a good mentorship program to get into, a good coach. Get yourself into a community, a good environment where you're going to have people that you can pull from that's going to be there to love up on you, okay? So it's very important, baby, to get yourself the help you need. So let me read a little bit more. Let's turn over to page 75. And take a look at this. I want to talk about Joseph a little bit. Yeah, let's talk about Joseph just a little bit. Let's turn over to page 74. You guys ready? Page 74. I'm just going to read this a little bit and then I'm going to have to get out of here. Someone says, how do I join? Just go to unlockinggreatness.com, baby, and you can join. And if you do decide to join the retreat or my mentorship, make sure you introduce yourself in the community so I can talk to you later today. Okay, strange favor, page 74. Let's see how the strange favor from God was packaged in Joseph's life. If you continue reading Genesis in chapter 39, you would discover that Joseph was a handsome man and Potiphar's wife was attracted to him. She asked him to sleep with her, but he denied her. Despite her many attempts to seduce him, he refused her because he was an honorable man. So what did she do? She lied and said he tried to sleep with her. By the time you get to verse 20, you will find he was thrown in prison as a result of her lies and betrayals. How is it possible to have already gone through a traumatic situation? Now, when I say a traumatic situation, for those who don't know anything about Joseph's life, his brothers were jealous of him. They threw him into a cistern. They sold him into slavery. I mean, just so much wrong was done to this poor man. I'm kind of still addressing this baby over here who said she lost everything, because really this is kind of relating to that. But just imagine all these little situations happening. It just don't make sense. Am I right? But let's unpackage this strange favor and see what happened. So then, when he finally gets out of that situation and he's in Potiphar's house and he's risen, right? God has raised him to be able to serve and help. His wife lies on him, and then the man is just thrown right back in prison. So I said, how is it possible to have already gone through a traumatic situation? I'm on page 74, you guys, by the way. How is it possible to have already gone through a traumatic situation, finally gotten settled, and then without warning, you're unfairly treated and repositioned once again? Anybody ever felt like you came out of a season and then before you can really kind of catch your breath and sort of catch up? Maybe it's just me, but because I went through this so many times in life, and all of a sudden another difficult season came your way again. Because anyone relate to that? Let me know. I'm seeing some of the comments here. Reading that book at the moment is awesome. Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. I'm reading. So I'm seeing some people said, yes, I can relate to that. Okay, just wanted to make sure you guys are still with me. So that's what was happening for him in the moment. So let's look and see what happened. That certainly doesn't look like favor to me. Yet the Bible tells us, and I'm quoting this, you all, but while Joseph was there in prison, the Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor. You hear that word? Favor in the eyes of the prison warden. So the warden put Joseph in charge of all those he held in prison. Now someone put this passage in. That's Genesis 39, verse 20 through 22. Someone type that in for me, please. Genesis chapter 39, verse 20 through 22. Now I want to pause on that for just a second. I don't understand, at least I didn't. How is that called favor? When you've gone through so much mess, you finally get to a point where you're settled. Somebody lies on you, you're thrown in jail, and all this and that happens. And then in that same passage, I pray somebody's picking this up, because I'm supposed to be working right now. But anyway, in that same sentence, it's saying, let me read it again. But while Joseph was there in prison, the Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the prison's warden. How is that possible that that's favor when you're in the middle of that mess? Now, for those who are just joining, I'm reading from my book, Necessary. I'm reading just a little bit from a chapter called Strange Favor. What kind of strange favor is that? That favor led him to being betrayed by his family. Favor shouldn't look like family members turning their back on you. That favor led him to jail. Favor shouldn't look like being blamed for something you didn't do. Right? I think it's great that God granted Joseph favor with the warden, but he was still in jail against his wishes. Does that look like favor to you? And can you in any way relate to this scenario? Let's keep unpacking this strange looking gift and see what God had inside. Now, before I read on a little bit more, and I'm only going to read maybe one more paragraph, I want to know, if you were in Joseph's position in that situation, let me phrase this another way. We all know what happened with Joseph. I talked about that. What his brothers did, they betrayed him. They ended up selling him. He ended up going to Potiphar's house doing well. Somebody lied on him. He ended up in jail. And yet God is still calling that favor. That's why I titled this chapter Strange Favor. Because it forced me, when I sat down and examined and looked at Joseph's life, I was like, hold on. Wait a minute. Where's this strange favor that's been showing and popping up in my life? Oh, the reason I have such compassion for people, and I love helping people, especially the underdog or people that are going through difficult trials. Oh, I'm able to relate to a lot of that because I went through so much in my life. And even when God was able to raise me to higher levels, God was able to keep me humble through it. Oh, now I see the favor from that because now I'm able to allow God to speak through me and work through me so that others who are in dark places or who are going through things, they can have some hope and be lifted. Oh, I didn't realize that all along God had a plan through that. Does that make sense, you all? All right. My question to you is, what ended up happening with Joseph? I'm just going to jump to the end because I don't have time to sit and read through a little bit more. And when we have our book club meetings, we're going to go a whole lot deeper into these. What ended up happening to Joseph in the end? Can anyone tell me? I'm going to let you guys teach me. What ended up happening at the end? Someone says, you are forgiven, says God is sovereign, and how he gets us to the promised land will always bring him glory. If Joseph had been in control, he could have said, look what I did. You're right. Don't let me turn to the book of Judges 6 and 7, when God had to lower Gideon's army down from about 32,000 men to only about, 3 or so hundred? And he said, I got to do this. He says, because otherwise, when I take you to where I'm about to take you, I'm paraphrasing. He said, you're going to think you got there by yourself. Oh, that's such a powerful story. I'm not going to even turn to it. But thank you for saying that. What ended up happening to Joseph at the end? What ended up happening? Joseph had mercy on his brothers. Come on, Monica. What else ended up happening? Jay says he forgave his brothers. Life Giver says he became the prime minister and saved his family. Cass says he managed the feeding of Egypt. That's true. You guys know some things. Okay. Jane says he became a ruler in that land. What else happened? Ella says he received everything back and more. Katrina says he became second in command in Egypt. Dorothy says he became governor and saved his family from famine and they lived in Goshen. What else happened? Wanda says he provided for his family. Mary Green says he became honorable still. Jay says prophecy was fulfilled. Someone says, I'm learning, thank you. I'm glad that you're learning, baby. I'm glad. Romans 8:18, there was a revelation behind his suffering and it was unveiled. Come on, Jay. Wanda said he was reunited with his family. Cass says he interpreted Pharaoh's dream. That's a good point. I'm glad you actually just brought that up because I didn't even end up reading any more from the story because I know I got to end this live now. But that's a very good point because this time when he was thrown in there was a cupbearer and there was some other man that was thrown in there and he ended up helping that person. So you're already in a bad situation. You don't have much to give and yet you're helping somebody. And then he got his butt out of jail and forgot about Joseph for like 2 years. You ever feel like you don't have much and you're trying to help somebody and they forget all about you once they're back on their feet? I mean, he had every excuse in the world to be like, forget about this. This is not working. This is no strange favor in my life. But little did we all know that not even 2 years later, the cupbearer would remember Joseph. And when Pharaoh needed somebody to interpret that dream, he's like, oh, I remember this person that helped me a long time ago. And at just the right time, you see how God's timing worked that out? They sent for Joseph, and within no time, he was second in command, and you guys know the rest of the story. So before I close this out, I want to encourage you all. Whether you may be going through a season where God is showing you strange favor in your life, or maybe you know someone else. Someone says, oh my God, hi Z, hi Jillian, hi baby. Maybe you know of someone else that's going through some things. Share this story with them all. Share this story with them, you guys. Ask God to open your eyes to help you look at your situation through a different set of lenses. That's one of the things I teach in my mentorship. I teach them you put on your spiritual goggles and you have to step back and look at things through the right lens, right? for those who are going through the necessary retreat, it's like a 12 to, I don't know if you want to spend 12 to 14 weeks with me, but that's about how long it takes. It's like a 12 to 14 week retreat of walking through every chapter in this book with mindset exercises and challenges and all types of things. And those that are already part of my program, you already know. But one of the things in there, we talk about that, you guys, is adjusting those spiritual goggles, adjusting those eyes so you can see in the spirit. Ephesians 6, I think starting in verse 10 or 12, is very true. The battle is really in the spirit. So I pray that some of you all are encouraged if you're going through some difficult times in life. I pray that you're encouraged to take another look at your situation and reframe the way that you're looking at it and says, wait, what is so unique about me? Think about Joseph. Read that whole story. What's so unique about me that I'm experiencing a Joseph season right now? What is it that the enemy is trying to stop? And what is it that God is trying to help me to see so that I can become? Now, you guys know I talk a lot about that in my mentorship, so that I can become this higher version of myself. Does that make sense, you all? I love you all. I know I got to close this out. I'm walking and doing exactly what God has told me to do. Dear Father, I pray you're pleased with me. He put in my heart 11:11. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. I don't even know what those numbers mean, but 11:11. Go live at 11:11. I'm going to help us take this book globally to all the nations, and my people are going to help spread the word. So the only ask I have from you all, please tell the world. First of all, tell the world about God. Tell the world about the Bible. Nothing trumps the Bible. Let me just say that first and foremost. But please tell the world about Necessary. Any families, friends, there are a lot of people graduating soon, anniversaries coming up, people going through things. Get a copy for them and spread it throughout the world. God placed in my heart that he was going to, for those who don't know my story, God woke me up in the middle of the night years ago and told me he was going to have me write this book. And unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, I had to live through it to write it. And the reason my name's not on the cover is because it's the exact vision he gave me. And every author has their name on the cover of their book. But God didn't give me that vision, so I had to walk in the vision he gave me. And he made it clear to me that this is going to change hearts and help people all over the world to draw near to him. So I don't know. I got to end this live, you guys. I don't know how God is going to spread Necessary throughout the nations. But he's recently placed in my heart this is going to be a global book club. And he's told me in my spirit, you're going to be surprised by how many book clubs are forming all around the world. And go and do as I say. And I said, God, I don't know how you're going to finance this. I don't have the money to be spreading this all over the world. Like, how is that going to happen? And he's put in my spirit, I've sent my people ahead. The word is going to be spread throughout all the nations. And I've even sent people that's going to help fund it and make sure it happens. I'm simply walking in obedience. And I'm asking you guys, tell the world about it. Buy a copy. Get copies for your friends. If you know people in other countries, other nations or whatever, get a copy and send it to them. And we're starting this global book club. If you've already joined it, you're going to be getting an email so that you'll know when we're having our meetings. But I love you all. I love you. I love you. My site, again, is unlockinggreatness.com. The book can be ordered on my site at Unlocking Greatness. I have some autographed copies on my site, actually. And it also can be ordered directly on Amazon. And thank you all for the amazing reviews on Amazon. I do want to say that. I read every single review that's on there. I am people from all around the world are writing reviews, people I've never met, and I'm so pleased that hearts are being changed. And it's not me. I wish I could take the credit, but I didn't write this book. Every scripture in this book, you guys, I'm not making this up. It's not like I had the scriptures all written down someplace. Every scripture, every passage, every assignment, every recommended reading, all of it was given to me in the spirit. And I would only get up and write when God prompted me to write. And so for those of you who don't know anything about Necessary, it takes you on a transformational journey. And I've developed an entire retreat by God's grace based on this book. So if you already have the book and now you want to take it further, get your butt inside the Necessary retreat. We reduced the price down to like $27, which is like nothing. Get yourself inside that retreat. It's a 12 to 14 week retreat where I walk you through the entire book and you get to join me on the live Zoom calls. So I love you all. You can sign up at unlockinggreatness.com for that. But I love you guys. I'm going to close this out. I'm simply doing what God is asking me to do. So you guys are going to be my witnesses one day. And I don't know how God's going to do this. It's interesting. I don't know what he's going to do. But you guys, I want you to be my witnesses that one day you guys are going to be able to say, before this book spread throughout all the nations and became an international bestseller, I was a part of those lives when she was saying it was going to happen. And it's not for my glory. Let me be clear on that. It's for God's glory because this is the vision he's given me. So I'm going to do what he said. He told me the people are going to spread it through the nation. So I'm asking you guys, get extra copies, buy them for gifts. If you know people in other countries, other nations, send them a copy. I have the audiobook available as well. The video book of me reading through the entire book, that's available exclusively inside the Necessary Retreat. So if you do decide to join my community, you actually just sit there and press play and I'm reading the book to you. But please spread the word. Let me see some comments and I'm closing on out. Hello, Auntie. God bless you. Thank you, baby. Nice to see you, Z. Hey, Rebecca. Thank you, Z. I just started working on myself for the millionth time. All righty, baby. Your voice is so soft and calm. Thank you, Lulu. Thank you. Inside of the mentorship program that I have, there's a section in there called Hold Me Accountable. And that's where we really hold each other accountable for our goals and things for the week. What is the name of your website, ma'am? It's called Unlocking Greatness. The link is in my bio. Just go to unlockinggreatness.com. Let me answer the question before you all ask me, because every single time I get this question when people go to my site, they say, Z, what's the difference between the standard plan and the premium plan? There's one that's $27 and one that's like $47. And let me just answer it so you guys don't have to email and ask me. I thought I made it clear on there, but let me just make it really clear. The standard plan is for people going on a personal journey, and every other Monday we meet for personal development. We meet each other on a Zoom call as a group, and you get to walk through the entire retreat. The premium plan, the 47, that's for people who are entrepreneurs. So if you have a business, or you want to start your business, or maybe you're a coach, or I don't know, minister, or there's so many people in there, people that sell products, people that do whatever. But you want to learn, okay, how do I apply Bible-based principles and mindset principles to my business model? And how do I get myself in the right entrepreneur environment so that we can grow together? That $47 plan, that's the one for entrepreneurs. So if you have a business or something, you definitely want to be in that one. We just had a session yesterday. All the sessions are recorded and saved, by the way, so you didn't miss anything. And all I can tell you is look at the testimonies that's on the site. Those are real testimonies. I operate in honesty and integrity. And those are real testimonies from people saying, Z, I've been in a whole lot of coaching programs and never have I been in something where I've gained so much in so little time. One lady said, I've learned more in one session than I've learned in about 20 or 30 years from all the other coaching I've gotten. Because many people don't know I've been a business owner for 26 years. I've done some of everything, from writing books to having my own private products, my own branded. People don't even know I have an Unbreakable collection, Unbreakable jewelry collection, run a staffing agency I've had for 20-something years, have a lot of experience in business. And so when we come together in that business community, it's unreal. And I don't hold back anything. There's coaches in there, and I give all the advice that I can give, how you grow your social media channels, how you organize your funnels and your pages and all of that. So it's wonderful. But anyway, that's enough on that. So that's the difference between the two plans. One is for people that's like, Z, I don't want nothing to do with entrepreneur. I just want to grow. Fine, that's that plan. The second one is more so for people who are entrepreneurs, or you got a goal or a dream and you're trying to get it off the ground, but you need a lot of help. And that's what that second one's for. All right. Love you guys. Let me get on out of here. Talk to Tasha says your ministry has blessed me so very much as brother on life support. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Thank you so much for those words. Someone says they're starting a YouTube show and wondering if I can come on as a special guest. Send me a direct message, baby. I get a lot of, I've received, responses to be a guest speaker or to speak on podcasts or speak on whatever. I'm going to be honest, I've been extremely selective. It's very rare that I've done events on other platforms because I always want to make sure I'm walking and doing exactly what God is telling me to do. But now that he's asking me to spread this book nationwide, one of the things he has put on my heart is you got to get out there. I got to get you on other podcasts and on television shows and on radio. So if you guys have any of those kind of connections, let the people know I'm ready. I just got to walk in wisdom and do what God's telling me to do. So send me a message, baby, and I'll respond to you. All righty, you guys. Let me Hang on one second here. Let me get on out of here. I love you guys. I pray that you've been encouraged. Hey, Nova, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, love you guys. I'm going to close on out of this live. I pray you've been encouraged. I just read a little bit from my book, Necessary Strange Favor, and this recording will be saved on all of my platforms. But I pray you guys are encouraged. And for those of you who have joined the mentorship or the Necessary Retreat, make sure you introduce yourself in the community so I can talk to you later this evening, okay? And I'll see you on our next private Zoom call that we have scheduled. Love you guys. Bye-bye. All right. Love you guys. Be encouraged. Bye-bye. One second here. Let me close this out. I know there's some people waiting. All right, you guys, I love you. I got to go. I'm doing good, Nova. Thanks for asking. I pray you guys are encouraged. The only thing I ask once again is just share the information and let everyone else know about it, okay? Bye, you guys. Love you, love you, love you. Bye-bye. I am trying to figure out how do you close this out? All righty. Let me close this out. How do you do it? Okay. Bye-bye, you guys.